When the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Bristol, the dirt covered Bristol this weekend. It's more than just adjustments to the race car that are required. It's also an adjustment to the weekend, and it starts right away with qualifying. Heats will set the field.
Yeah, heats set the field, and the heats are set by a random draw to start with. So we end up with 4 heat races. We'll split up the number of cars that are there. They'll get put into that by a random draw. And then, it's not the winner of the heat race until the starts on the front row. Steve, talk about that. It's points for the heat race finish, but also passing points.
Yeah, so the goal is to score as many points as possible. Points are scored in 2 ways. First of all, where you finish. If you win your heat, you're going to get 10 points. But also, how many positions you improve from the start to the finish. So if you start 10th and you go all the way to first, you're going to get 9 points. Plus 10 for finishing first, 19 points. That's going to be a monster. You're going to start really well in the future.
Yeah, you're going to be on the front row someplace. But it makes it so that the performance of the cars actually shows in how you start the final race. I think a great way to carry this format forward.
So heat races and passing points will set the field at Bristol, but it's not just the qualifying order that's different when you go to Bristol, it's also pit stops. So if a caution during the event, not a stage end, but a caution during an event, the only reason you would come to pit road is damage or a flat tire. In that instance, it's the mechanics working on the car, not necessarily the pit crew, and you can't lose a lap.
Yeah, and you can only change the tire that went flat if you do come to pit road for a flat tire. So that's kind of keeps everybody on the racetrack, and then the stage breaks are a different situation.
3 minutes. At the end of the stage, the green and white checker will wave. The field will come to a slow and cautious pace. The wave around will go around the field, and at that point, if you choose to come to pit road or the infield, you can change tires, you can put fuel in, you can maintain other areas of the race car. But if you choose to stay on the racetrack, you gain track position.
Yeah, but those guys that come to pit road, they're going to have a 3-minute window, and you're not going to see the pit crews like we've had in the past. It's going to be the mechanics that you and I brought to the racetrack all weekend long. They're going to be out working on it. But you may see some things as much as like an air box could be changed. NASCAR will allow that because they're trying to keep the air filters clean and not plugged up. So we've got several things they can work on there, but they only get those 2 breaks, I guess it is, to actually make the changes in the car.
It's just not the dirt on pit road and no live pit stops that change what happens when you go dirt racing. It's also how you set the line. It was forever. It was the old school, odd to the inside, even to the outside. Not this year. This year, the choose rule is in effect.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a great piece to add to our Bristol dirt race because the racetrack may change. It may get to the point where you want to be on the top, or maybe you want to be on the bottom. You have the ability to choose your destiny. It's going to be fun to watch how these guys pick this and how it plays out.
It's also worth reminding the race fans there is a rule in the rule book that NASCAR can institute single file restarts if visibility is an issue. We've really rarely seen it. Some road courses in the rain. We have seen it at the dirt race when the dust became bad. And if needed, NASCAR can do it.
Yeah, definitely something that NASCAR keeps in their pocket so that they can keep a safe racing environment and put on a good show. We had to do it a couple years ago. It got so dusty, you came off of turn 4, you couldn't see where you were when you're too wide. They went to single file. That brought the racing back where we could put on a heck of a show.
Once a year, NASCAR heads to dirt. For that reason, the car needs some changes. The race needs changes. Once again, heat races for qualifying, no live pit stops, and the choose rule. It's going to be exciting how these affect the race up in Thunder Valley.